Hello students, today in the unit number 3, magnetism and magnetic effects of electric current. This is the session number 5, and today we are going to see important topics about the magnetic properties, which are magnetizing field, magnetic permeability, intensity of magnetization, magnetic induction or total magnetic field, and magnetic susceptibility. Finally, we are going to classify the magnetic materials, and in this class we are going to see about the diamagnetic materials. Students, in the past few decades, we have witnessed several processes and properties of magnetic materials which find useful in applications. Production of ultra low temperatures by adiabatic demagnetization of a paramagnetic salt, magnetic leviation trains using superconductors, high density memory devices for computer applications are some of the recent developments. You may be aware of conventional applications of magnetic materials in chokes, transformer cores, and electromagnetic also. These advances in technology became possible when we could make necessary modification in the structure of materials at the microscopic level for desired applications. Let's see how the magnetic properties have been discussed and how they have been defined. Now let's see what are the magnetic properties. All the materials we use are not magnetic materials. All the magnetic materials will not behave identically. In order to differentiate one magnetic material from another, we need to know some basic parameters. The first parameter is magnetizing field. The magnetic field, which is used to magnetize a sample or specimen, is called magnetizing field. Magnetizing field is a vector quantity and is denoted by H vector, and its unit is AM-1. Next one, magnetic permeability. Can you tell me what you mean by this permeability? I already explained you a lot of things about this permeability. Okay, let me explain. The meaning of magnetic permeability means, let me explain in Tamil to understand. Kanda Uduruval or Kanda Utpugu Thiran. Okay? Yeah. Now, magnetic permeability can be defined as the measure of ability of the material to allow the passage of magnetic field lines through it, or measure the capacity of the substances to take magnetization or the degree of penetration of the magnetic field through the substances that I already mentioned. Kanda Uduruval or Kanda Utpugu Thiran. Relative permeability. This is tagged with our magnetic permeability. The relative permeability mu r is defined as the ratio between absolute permeability of a medium to the permeability of a free space. Here mu r is equal to mu by mu naught, and mu naught is the permeability or absolute permeability. Mu is the permeability any medium it is denoted. Relative permeability is a dimensionless number, and which has no units. Then intensity of magnetization. What do you mean by this intensity of magnetization? In Tamil, we used to translate it as Tivira Kanda Mayamakkal or Kanda Serivu. Okay. Actually, you know what do you mean by this Tivira Kanda Mayamakkal? It is an intensity. It is a mode of application along the magnetization. When a material is kept in an external magnetic field, atomic dipoles are created. Hence, it will try to align partially or fully along the direction of external field. The net magnetic moment per unit volume of the material is known as intensity of magnetization or magnetization vector or magnetization. Which is termed as m vector is equal to magnetic moment divided by volume, which is equal to 1 by v into pm vector. Now the SI unit of intensity of magnetization is ampere meter minus 1. For a bar magnet, the slope, the pole strength qm, the length 2l and area of cross section A. The magnetic moment of the bar magnet is an volume of the bar magnet, that is Pm is equal to Qm 2L. Now the intensity of magnetization of a bar magnet is V is equal to A 2L modulus, which is termed as 2LA. So M vector is equal to magnetic moment by volume is equal to Qm 2L vector divided by 2L. You can cancel this 2L and 2L. So Qm by A. And in magnitude, the equation m vector modulus is equal to m is equal to qm into 2l. We can cancel this 2l. So m is equal to qm by a. This means for a bar magnet, the intensity of magnetization can be defined as the pole strength per unit area. That means the phase area. The fourth one, magnetic induction or total magnetic field. When a substance like soft iron bar is placed in a uniform magnetizing field, H vector, it becomes a magnet, which means that the substance gets magnetized. The magnetic induction, that means the total magnetic field inside the specimen is B vector, which is equal to the sum of the magnetic field B vector produced in vacuum due to the magnetizing field and the magnetic field due to the induced magnetization of a substance. Here B vector is equal to B vector naught plus Bm vector, which is equal to mu naught H vector plus mu naught I vector, or B vector is equal to B naught plus Bm, which is equal to mu naught H plus I vectors. Last one, magnetic susceptibility. When a substance is kept in a magnetizing field, the magnetic susceptibility measures how easily and strongly a material can be magnetized. So let me explain this magnetic susceptibility in Tamil. Kanda unar thiran alladu Kanda erpu thiran. Okay, so accepting the magnetism. It is defined as the ratio of intensity of magnetization M vector induced in the material due to the magnetizing field H vector. So Xm is equal to M vector divided by H vector. It is a dimensionless quantity. Now Classification of magnetic materials. How do you classify the magnetic materials? See, magnetic materials are generally classified into three types based on the behavior of materials in magnetizing field. They are diamagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic materials. Now let's see what are they and what are the properties of that materials. First of all, let's see the diamagnetic materials. See, this is an example for diamagnetic material which is used to alleviate the trains. When placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, the interaction between induced magnetic moment and the external field creates a force which tends to move the material from stronger part to weaker part of the external field. Here you can see we create an external magnetic field in between these two magnets, and it is move the material from stronger part to the weaker part of the external field. Now it means that the diamagnetic material is repelled by the field. This shows the repulsion in between the magnetic fields. This action is called diamagnetic action, and such materials are known as diamagnetic materials. Now the examples of diamagnetic materials are bismuth, copper and water. So what are the properties of diamagnetic materials? They have some peculiar properties which is compared to ferromagnetic and paramagnetic. First one, magnetic susceptibility is negative. Relative permeability is slightly less than the unity. Third one, the magnetic field lines are repelled or expelled by the diamagnetic material when placed in a magnetic field. I show an example for you in this. Then fourth one, the susceptibility is nearly temperature dependent. See here in this picture you can see the diamagnetic materials, if it is the temperature is greater than the temperature of coefficient, it travels towards the material. If the temperature is less than the temperature of coefficient, then it deviates from that material. This shows the Meissner effect of the diamagnetic material. Meissner effect is called the superconductors are perfect diamagnetic materials. The expulsion of magnetic flux from a superconductor during its transition to the superconducting state is known as Meissner effect. That means a conductor is transferring from a conductor which have a magnetic material or magnetic field is transferring its nature from conductor stage to superconductor stage is known as the Meissner effect. The transition is known as Meissner effect. Magnetic leviated train are a best example for this Meissner effect and diamagnetic materials. Magnetic leviated train is also called as maglev train, which is usually a normal transport system in Japan, China and other European countries. This train floats above few centimeter from the guideway because of electromagnet used. Maglev train does not need wheels and also achieve greater speed. You can see here there is no wheel inside this train. Okay, and here the maglev train is composed with magnets with the two sides, and this is north and south poles mentioned here. The basic mechanism of working of maglev train involves two sets of magnets. One set is used to repel, which make the train to float above the track. See here, it is used to float above the track. Then another set is used to move the train floating ahead at a very great speed. These trains are quieter, smoother and environmental friendly compared conventional train and have potential for moving with much higher speed with technology in future. And India, we are going to install all these maglev type trains in near future, probably after 5 years. Thank you students. See you in the next class.